The governor, working in partnership with the security services in Anambra State, the DSS, the police, the army, the navy, the civil defense, the federal road safety, everybody putting hands together, the local community vigilantes, the churches, came together, and the security architecture of Anambra State was redesigned. And everybody put their back to the walls and got working. And today, Anambra State is free, is secure, confidence has restored, people are now more assured and more secure. There's more visible presence of security forces everywhere you go. And we have Mr. Governor to thank for that. As security is being restored, the citizens have been also very actively participating. Some of the people who are here contributed to the Anambra State Security Trust Fund, which has been used primarily to fund the new security architecture, to pay for personnel, to pay for equipment that have been acquired to make Anambra more secure. You would all have been reading in the papers some of the recent exploits of the security services. Every time there's an incident, whether it be kidnapping or a case of some random terrorist, non-state actors disrupting the peace, the security services have always moved promptly into action and restored law and order. So we have them to thank for that. And may I ask you all please to applaud the security services in Anambra State for the great work that they are doing. Secondly, on the educational front, the government has been recruiting to enhance the quality of education in the state. We recently recruited about 5,000 teachers, and a lot of schools are undergoing renovation. More recruitments in the educational center are on the way, and there's greater collaboration between the government and educational institutions. We recently also recruited about 500 medical personnel for the hospitals that are in Anambra State, and some more investments are going into the health sector. More general hospitals are being built in all of the local governments of Anambra State. On the agri front, some very significant innovations have been taking place. The government has, in the last 1 year, planted over 1 million seedlings of palm oil seedlings and coconut seedlings. I'm sure some of the people, everybody here would be, in some way, have been aware that people in their community at the ward level have received these coconut seedlings and are planting them in their backyards or in their front yards or in their farms. Then one single hectare of land to plantation. It is the entire state, family lands, family properties that are being converted into plantation seedlings. This has already reached about 130 family households in Anambra. The target is 400 families at every ward. And Anambra, I think, has about 262 wards or something to that effect. So, families are being empowered. What it means is because these are high yield palm oil and coconut seedlings, what it means is that in 3 years, we should begin to harvest coconuts and harvest palm oil seedlings from these trees. And I know presently that the federal government spends about 240 billion importing palm oil components for manufacturers. And so in 3 years, when we would have reached the 3 million or so mark of palm oil seedlings and coconut being planted, Anambra State should be getting a significant portion of that 240 billion for itself. It means that these 130,000 families will be making multi-million naira from seedlings of palm oil and coconut freely handed over to them by the government of Professor Charles Chukwuma. And that's something very significant. It's something to be very proud of. The government made a commitment to empower and create 10,000 millionaires every year. We did not know that one single program from government can create 130,000 family millionaires in Anambra State. And that's something to applaud, that's something to be very proud of. Now, I come to it in Anambra. Anambra State has always been the home of entrepreneurs. It has always been the home of enterprise. The greatest entrepreneurs on the African continent has always been from Anambra. One of the largest business innovation and incubation centers in the world, as established by Harvard University, USA, is in Anambra. Thank you. And why is that so? Well, because the Iwa Boy system, which has made poverty reduction in Anambra significant in the sense that Anambra has the lowest level of poverty in Nigeria. And the primary reason for that is the industry of the people and the very innovative ways with which wealth is created in Anambra, including significantly the Iwa Boy system. Today, the government of Anambra State is reinvigorating, reinventing, and modernizing the Iwa Boy system. And we're hoping that we are able to incorporate that in a more innovative way going forward in a lot of the programs that will be unveiling. Anambra State has also been pursuing for youth empowerment one youth, two skills program that has just rounded off last week and has trained tens of thousands of youths in new skill sets that are also financially supported in some respects to start their own enterprises. We have 400 cooperatives arising out of that one youth, two skills program. And the good news is that Anambra State government is also developing a special pot of money for cooperatives in Anambra as a way of further empowering financially youths, men and women at all levels of society. There will be a new legislation coming out of the Anambra State Assembly that will define how these dedicated funds for cooperatives will be shared out amongst people in Anambra State, using the cooperatives as a medium for lifting people out of poverty and into wealth and prosperity. So it's scientifically established that we have over 18,000 cooperatives in Anambra, through which we are able to empower families and small-scale enterprises. Yes, so I was speaking about Anambra and entrepreneurship and industrial manufacturing to say that it is on record that the first known African billionaire is from Anambra State. He's from Nnewi, my hometown. And I'm also happy to say that he was my uncle in his time when he was alive. And so I claim a little of that heritage. It is part of what I bring to the ministry. There are on record 391 industries in our books in the ministry. And we know that there are more than that number. 2 industries that are on record in organized private sectors spread out between the chambers of commerce and between the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria in Anambra State. Now, our mandate from the governor in the ministry is to revive dead and ailing industries. There are a lot of industries that have gone out of business, and we're looking at all of them to see the ones that we can give new life and the ones that we can repackage what they are doing for a new life, or use their premises for completely new enterprises, because we are working very hard to bring in industries that don't exist presently in Anambra. There are a lot of industries that are not represented. You have the robotics, you have artificial intelligence, you have Internet of Things, You have electric vehicle manufacturing, solar industry, power industry, solar manufacturers in the power sector. You have hydrogen-driven technologies. You have all manner of things that are not here, and we're working very hard to bring them in. You have the animation industry for the creative filmmaking and storytelling. We want to take possession of our storytelling, how our stories are told as a people, as a way of rebuilding the confidence of our people in their culture and in themselves. We also have a mandate to strengthen industries that are already in existence but very weak, to give them new life, to give them new strength. And how are we going to do that? Well, we are in dialogue with the state legislators and the government to see how we are able to use the power of procurement in the state. Use that power to support industries. We want to be able to say that all things made in Anambra must get priority in all matters of government procurement. We buy made in Anambra first, and then if we can't find what we need, then we can look elsewhere. We do that by using a very basic rule. Anything that is made and sold in Anambra that has at least a minimum of 50% component of its constitution made in Anambra qualifies for made in Anambra. It's a very basic rule. And we want to use that rule to support weak industries, to grow new ones, and to ensure that we continue to create jobs in the environment and make Anambra a very attractive destination for investments. Number 3 is that we want to prepare the strong industries to be even stronger and to ensure that we work with to start exporting. We are creating financial relationships with banks that will work with you to make that possible. What will these banks do? Well, the banks will do 2 things. They'll give you expansion capital to expand your production capacity so that you're not just able to serve the domestic market, but you're ready to serve the international market.
And I'm the chairman of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, covering Anambra, Enugu, and Ebonyi State. Thank you. I'm also on the executive level of the national body. I'm a member of that national body.
Okay, today Anambra State government, through the Ministry of Industry, held an Export 2023 pre-launch. Would like to know your view on that.
So we are very, very proud of this administration, and we are very, very confident that the solution we are looking for is here. I've seen and I've heard several initiatives from our governor, and I am so convinced that we are into great times. Beautiful days await the Anambra, especially manufacturers in Anambra. Keen into his key agenda for the state, which is the industrialization of Anambra State, making Anambra a technology hub and a leisure hub, to the extent that this state is very livable and a prosperous one. And he has been championing it. He has been championing it because he believes so much that his policies and agenda would work in Anambra State. You can imagine a governor that is our chief marketing officer. Our governor is always promoting made in Anambra State products. His outfit, his vehicle, is promoting a nursing group. And any Ezigbo Anambra State should be very, very proud of Enos. He has done well. And so also has other manufacturers in the state. been doing well. So we are proud that our governor is very, very sensitive to our needs. The last time he was with us at our town hall meeting, under the auspices of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, we proposed a theory to him, and he caught on it and followed through with it. He never wasted time. When we called upon him that we are having issues of multiple taxation and harassment from touts, he also intervened, even though these touts are still persistent, but he stood up to our call for action, and he did something immediately, almost instantaneously. And he called them touts and said, anywhere we find any of them, we should arrest them. So he stood by us. That shows his good intentions. And today we are hearing about collaborations with Afrexim. We are hearing about his intentions through the Honorable Commissioner for Industry. His collaborations to make sure that ailing industries are fortified and strengthened, and his intentions to making strong ones to become stronger. It shows that he knows what he's doing. For some other people that are on the intellectual level, but they are not interested in the practical, people paying lip service to it, they will only say with their mouth and they will ignore you. It will all talk. But here we have a governor that is keenly interested, is very intentional about all his initiatives. He has been putting structures on ground, free trade zone, economic processing zones, and industrial clusters, energy, enhancing the energy in the state through his MOU with EEDC to improve power supply and then to reduce the cost of power supply. That alone will engender productivity in the state and create more wealth and, of course, provide more jobs. So we are also aware of his efforts, because we are feeling it, his efforts towards security, securing lives and property in the state is also very commendable.
Well, in my statements, commerce is dying every day. Anambra was known to be, virtual for Onisha and Nnewi, the biggest market in West Africa in those days. And today, if you walk into any market, it's like people are sleeping. People don't even go to the markets anymore because that's not coming of it. So the commercial activity of Anambra State is going down every day. And as it's going down, Delta is winning. Lagos is winning. Other things are winning. People are leaving Anambra State for other states to do their business. First of all, what are the facilities for production? Are they available? Because to export, your product must international standards. That means that your processes must be right.
Yes.
You cannot cut off corners. And so you have a final product that can meet the requirements. So pre-launch or whatever, what I'm trying to say is that encourage people to do things right. What standards do you need for export? We are having a pre-launch. How many people have been sensitized who are in production today actually? They have government taking time to assess products available. There should be a mini, people should come in, so you can look at it and say, this is not good, this is good, not good enough. So the issue with the pre-launch is a good idea. For me, every idea is better than no idea whatsoever. But we believe that with this new idea from His Excellency or from Mr. Commissioner, that we can drive people to seeing the need for export. Export requires a lot of things. It's not just about export from out. Who is the recipient country? We are doing a lot of export in Anambra, Onisha. That's what they call the unorthodox export. That's people are taking things across the border. But if you want to do the real export that will have true analysis and true customs and everything, you require those standards to be met.
Yes.
We are doing a lot of export already in Nigeria, in Onisha. Power is not just government. Let me tell you one thing, government cannot do much about power. Because you need to get the right person to invest in power. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You have to have the right entrepreneur that will come and put a power plant. In Indonesia, I've had a lot of people who want to set power plant. When they come and look at the environment, they walk away. So it's not about government, it's not a power plant. It's the investors coming to a power plant in Anambra State. I mean, remember what happened in the last 8 years of Ogwedeke's investment? So many MOUs are signed. How many people actually have to actualize it?
No.
You must look at environment and security important. It's going to be done by foreigners and FDIs.
Yes.
If you come to Anambra, you have to carry 10 policemen walking around. Why will not go to Lagos?
Of course.
Why won't go to Lagos? So why not go to that place? The issues are there, they're genuine. It's about putting money on the table. If you cannot guarantee your money on the table, you want not. But I think the government is doing very well. It's trying to talk about the roadshow. People who come to Anambra. Anambra is safe.
Dechuku Christian. I am Commissioner for Industry in Anambra State. And today we had the pre-launch of Made in Anambra Pan-African Export Program 2023. We are looking to start a campaign where we encourage some of our leading industries in Anambra to begin strategic export into 54 African countries. We're working with some banks and development finance institutions to ensure that we create the structure that will enable them to export seamlessly into the African Free Trade Area, which has a market of about 1.2 billion people and valued at about $3.4 trillion. We want Anambra and Nigeria to get a share of that market. We believe that if we start now, we will be ahead of the game. We follow in the footsteps of our banks that are already expanding across Africa. This is what we want to do. Now, the governor, Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo, everybody knows, is the pioneer of Pan-African banking. Our banks are now investing and expanding across Africa because of the consolidation program that he introduced in the banking sector. And we want to be able to leverage on the knowledge and the expertise and the experience of industries in Anambra, and also the financial capacity and knowledge which is endowed in the governor, to see how we leverage relationships with the banking sector to ensure that our industries are able to expand internationally and that they do what they do best in many African countries. That's what we're looking at. And we know that in the next 4 or 5 years, when they would have become very strong and comfortable in terms of logistics flow of export into Africa, that we can then prepare them for the rest of the world. Because in that period, we would also prepare them to ensure that they become listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And that after listing, the capital that they will get from that will enable them to begin to consider acquiring industries in Anambra. And that is why we had this pre-launch event with the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the Chambers of Commerce, and industry leaders to let them know what is coming. The program itself will be unveiled on the 3rd and 4th of October 2023 at the International Conference Center in Awka.
Okay, finally, despite efforts of the Anambra State government to ensure that industrialization is put in place, most small and scale business enterprises are still biased. What assurance are you giving them that this you're talking about is going to explore their goods and services?
Well, okay. There are many things that the state is doing. Everybody knows that Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo does things differently. He's a man who thinks through everything that he wants to do. He takes his time to consider not just a problem or a challenge, but the solutions. He's a man who is very purposeful, deliberate, intentional, and focused on overcoming any challenge that is in the path of any policy that has been put forward. So, there's an adjustment being made to the cooperative law to enable government back them with finance. Okay, so cooperatives in Anambra before long are going to be receiving funding from the government to enable them, the specialized ones, the general ones, and so on, to be able to do more with the money that is available to them, officially from government. Secondly, at the same micro level, we are organizing those that are sector specific into the same cooperatives. We've just registered about 400 of them from the One Youth, Two Skills program. And we already have about 18,000 cooperatives existing in Anambra. So they are the ones that will benefit from specialized funding from government. That's one. The second thing is that even on the strength of the agricultural program that the government just launched, which is the planting of palm oil and coconut seedlings, we have been able to plant about 1 million seedlings. By the end of the administration, we're aiming at about 3 million plus, maybe even 4. It is expected that at least about 400 households, families will benefit at every ward level. And that means that presently, even on the strength of what we've done already, we have been able to reach 130,000 families. What does that mean? It means that in 2-3 years, these families will begin to harvest palm oil seedlings and coconut fruit trees that they will now be able to aggregate into a larger pool to benefit from the 240 billion which the federal government of Nigeria presently spends on importing palm oil components for industrial manufacture. So we're looking to take a share of that 240 billion for the people of Anambra, for the 130,000 households in the state. Okay? Now, we don't have a dedicated land for that. People are just planting these things around their homes, in their backyards, their front yards, and so on. Okay? So that is part of the deliberate economic empowerment of the people. So the other thing, of course, is that we're training a digital group of youngsters. The Solutions Innovation District has already trained about 20,000 youths in ICT skills. Another 10,000 are presently undergoing coding skills. So we have, within the last 1 year, 30,000 youths who are equipped to operate in the ICT space that they have not previously been able to. More will be coming. We're creating international partnerships to ensure that we have new industries in the ICT space that are not here before, that they come in. We're looking at developing industries in animation, in artificial intelligence, in the Internet of Things, and so on. We are attracting industries that will be specific. We're also attracting partners that will build the skills to support those industries in Anambra. So these are purposeful programs. The reason we convened the Chambers of Commerce and the Manufacturers Association today is so that they know what is coming and that they are prepared. They sensitize their members. We will also be going around to the communities to talk to them. Some of the medium, we also have, in my ministry, I actually have a fund with the Bank of Industry. It's presently at about ₦1 billion that we are able to give out to support MSMEs, to expand and grow their business. And we are also in discussion with the banks. You heard some of the banks that were here today saying that they are dedicated some of the funds that they have available to support the MSMEs in Anambra. And they want to work closely with the government to be able to channel those funds to be sure that those who need it are able to access it. And the other thing that we're also doing is that Anambra State is working to ensure that its government is smarter. There's a greater ease of doing business. What does that mean? Well, we're working with telecoms companies to acquire smartphones, okay, about 30,000 plus, to ensure that every civil servant in Anambra has a smartphone, that they have an EID, electronic ID, that enables them to be identified wherever they are, so they can benefit from government-specific programs that are targeting civil servants to ensure that their life is easier, they have greater quality of work, and their performance improves, and efficiency on many levels are rising. We also want to be able to migrate government work. Every service that government provides, we want to migrate them online so that people are able to acquire government services online, pay for them online. They don't need to come to the ministry to know any commissioner or meet anybody unless they have to. And for civil servants to be able to do their jobs on the go, to be able to participate in meetings virtually. But at the same time, the government is also going to be introducing a clocking system so that when people become able to do their jobs virtually, that they don't stop coming to work, that they're able to be in the office when they're supposed to, clock in to say they were there, and clock out to say they are not there, and all that. But people are going to enjoy working for government, and people are going to be enjoying interfacing with government because they can come physically or they can do so virtually. So things are happening in Anambra, and we're hoping that it will be, much more are going to be happening, and that all of you and those who are not here are able to enjoy the smart megacity that Professor Charles Suma Soludo has promised to create, that they enjoy the livable and prosperous environment that we're creating.